The expectations were many. Which ministry are we going to get? And many people were thinking about all the ministries, and civil aviation was never in the question. And when civil aviation was given, I was also slightly clueless on what the ministry is going to be and how do we deal with it, because I was also with the idea that maybe some other portfolio is going to come. There were other things in mind. But now I can proudly say that this is one of the best ministries that anyone can deal with. And the way the sector has been progressing in the last 11 years under the visionary leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, I can stand here very proudly and say that in the whole world, this kind of success India has seen in aviation, no other country has seen. That is where we stand today. We are the third largest aviation market in the whole world. And the capacities that we are dealing with, 74 airports in 2014. 74 itself is a very huge number, and people would have said that we have 74 airports, good connectivity all across, so we can just slow down a little bit, but that's not what happened in 2014. Because our Honorable Prime Minister understands that if we want to achieve Viksit Bharat, if we want the country to grow both inclusively and exclusively, domestically and both internationally, connectivity is the key. You study any country across the world which have achieved tremendous success in the growth story of their country, then you would see that the propellant has always been logistics. Either road sector, railway sector, air connectivity or ports. One of these have been the major driving sector for any growth sector that you would have seen. So this was the understanding and this was the vision our Honorable Prime Minister had. And he has taken aviation as one of the core subjects, and he has given it such a good drive in the last 11 years that 74 airports in 2014, now we are 164 and counting. That is the magnanimity of the growth that we have seen in this country. Now with 164 airports also, I would also like to simplify my speech and just give you a little bit of insights into what we are going ahead with. We have seen tremendous success in the last 11 years, but what we want to see is continue on that progress. 10 to 12% growth rate, that's what we are seeing in civil aviation today. So on one stage, we want to continue the growth story that we have achieved. And on the second side, while we are going, we want to transform the sector also. As we are transforming, we see in terms of the services that we are giving to the passengers and in terms of the manufacturing ecosystem that we have in the country and the future technologies which have the capacity to change the way we are seeing and visualizing civil aviation. All these things we want to have the platforms built in the country itself. So as we are progressing, we want to transform the sector also. I have given you the number of airports that we have seen in the country and some other statistics. If you see in 2014, there were around 1.8 lakh domestic passengers in the country. And today we have on an average of 4.6 lakhs, kind of 3 times, 1.8 lakh to 4.6 lakhs today. And almost 5.3 lakh people flew on November 10th. 5 lakh people traveling in a single day in any country seems to be the magic figure. It is an achievement where most of the countries are like ambitious to achieve that, but every other week we are touching the 5 lakh number today, and on November 10th we hit the highest point of 5.3 lakh passengers. And domestic passengers from 6.7 crores in 2014, we have grown up to 7.2 crores. And international passengers from 4.5 to 7.2 crores. Domestic flights, the number of flights that are moving around is from 6 lakhs in 2014 to 11 lakhs in 2024. And the international flights, the Indian carriers are 1.1 lakh flights in 14 to 2 lakh flights in 2024. So if you look at all the numbers, they have kind of doubled in the last 11 years. So the push has been not only to build the infrastructure and the ecosystem, but whatever existing infrastructure is going to build on the capacity, we have tried to expand it and do it, and that is the vision that we have for the future. Like I've said, we are at 164 airports today. So how do we move ahead in the future? We are seeing that India has come to a position where we have to rethink on how we are looking at airports. Till now, when we are looking at an airport, we are packing up 1,000 acres or 1,200 or 1,500 acres of land, and we are saying this is where the airport is going to come. It's going to have a runway which is where the big flights are going to come, small, everything is going to come, and then there's going to be a terminal, big terminal, and all those things. But now we feel India should move into the idea of having hub and spoke model. So we have the metropolitan airports where they are going to be the hubs like Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Kolkata. These are the major airports that we have which are handling crores of passengers every year. And then we have the other airports and the other airports are supposed to be the feeding system into this major airports and let them create their own hubs. So when we are trying to do this, then we have come up with the model saying that, see, when you are trying to build airports in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, they don't need to have such big, huge land bank in this thing. So what we are trying to design now, in the way we are looking at airports, is we are going to classify them as mega airports or large airports. Then we will have medium airports and the small scale airports. So once the idea around building an airport, we have these different sectors, then we can go with the idea of how much land is required for that airport. Suppose it's a tier 2 city. No matter how much you want to grow the passenger capacity, there is always going to be a mega airport which is close by, where it is more convenient for people to travel from there to any part of the world or the country.